Well, good evening, Dirtfish friends, and welcome to our end of day one review here at the Rally of Sweden. Listen, we're in the Hyundai service area. We're in basically the beating heart of the Hyundai service area, and you might recognise this gentleman to my right, you might not. David Evans, not with us this weekend because he's a busy boy on other projects, but I cannot tell you how pleased we are to have perhaps one of the world's greatest rally journalists with us, Anthony Peacock. You are perhaps, how terribly rude of me to say perhaps.
Well, I think, I would never dream to put myself among the pantheon of greats that you're so eloquently describing. So I can't talk anything like as eloquently as you can come in. So,
no, it's a loving already. I
don't do eloquence. I just do talking.
He does talking very well. But listen, before we get to talking about what's gone on today, and it's been a fabulous day, let's take a look at the top 10. So leading the way at the end of day one, it is Thierry Neuville. 4.3 seconds adrift of Neuville, Kalle Rovanpera. It's then Elfyn Evans in third, 7.4 seconds off the lead. Pekka Lappi, what a day he had out there. 8.8 seconds off the lead, 1.4 behind Evans. Oliver Solberg, 28.1 seconds off the lead in fifth. In sixth, it's Katsuta-san. Seventh is Adrian Formeau. Eighth is Gus Greensmith. Then comes the first of our Rally 2 cars. It's Andreas Mikkelsen leading WRC2, and rounding out the top 10, it's Ole Christian Veiby. So Anthony, what an interesting top 10 we have there.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating.
It is.
And it's great to see that we've got such a wonderful battle at the front. Where do we start? Do we start with the names that are missing from the top 10, or do we start with the performance of Thierry Neuville, which for me has been a remarkable effort?
Where to begin? Well, let's maybe start from the people who are missing.
Absolutely.
Absent friends. And the most notable name, there are two notable names missing from that top 10. Let's start with the one that we lost first, Craig Breen. Painful.
Really painful, because going into this rally, Breen was perhaps the most consistent performer in our top drivers. You have podium after podium after podium, very few mistakes. What went wrong this morning?
Craig himself said, before the start of the season, that he is somewhat lacking in experience when it comes to stringing a full season together, and I think it was that and road position, and he just got caught out, pure and simple. I think no point looking for a complicated explanation. It was just a mistake, and he ended up not just in a snowbank, but planted in a snowbank, properly off.
Anthony, I'm going to disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah,
go on.
He's not a driver who makes mistakes like that. He really isn't. I think there was a little more to it.
Go on. Tell me
remember he went off twice during shakedown. Yep. We saw him before the start of the opening stage, and he looked almost distracted. I think he put too much pressure on himself today. I really do. I think he had a strategy in Monte Carlo that he stuck to. He didn't get bothered about the fact that there were drivers quicker than him, got a decent result. I think he got distracted. I think he felt he had to push a little too hard, particularly in that second stage, and I think that is why he made the mistake. The other notable driver who is missing from the timesheets is Tanak. Goodness me. Tanak was...
How unlucky.
I think he won the previous stage, which was stage 5. He was within a second of the lead. And then he had a technical... Well, what can we call it? A technical retirement?
The problem is that sort of the teams never really go into much detail as to what happened. So I think we have to call it a technical retirement in the absence of any other information.
So let's just explain to you what happened. He came through stage 5 with a remarkably quick time, as I say, very much touching on the lead of the rally. Is that the right word? Touching?
Within spitting distance, within something distance. Yeah.
But he was quite vocal at the end of that stage. He'd had an issue with the hybrid unit. Now, what transpired was that as he made his way to the next stage with fears for maybe losing boost, well, it was more than that. The car went red. That is the first time we've seen this. And what we know, the regulations are very clear. Car goes red, that's it, you're out.
What can you say? I think if he had a winning lottery ticket, he'd somehow manage to lose it or something like that.
His cat would eat it. His dog would
eat it. Something would happen. So, so desperately unlucky. And as to what exactly transpired, I guess in the fullness of time we'll find out. But for now, we probably have to call it unspecified technical hybrid issue.
Now, Anthony, before we go on to talk about our wonderful battle at the front, what time is it?
What time is it? Oh, it's time I admired my watch and your watch, Colin.
It is time for the FORZO moment in time, and this is a new feature that we're going to bring in at the end of every day. It is the defining moment of the day, and Anthony, it is your choice for the FORZO moment in time.
Oh, well, I feel very, very privileged.
It's the first one.
It's the first one. I feel very privileged because, as usual, there are so many moments in time that you could choose, but I'm going to choose a moment in time which has occurred not long before we started filming this, which was the final sprint stage. Just 4 kilometres, about 3.5 minutes, but 3.5 minutes which changed everything, in the sense that those 3.5 minutes put Thierry Neuville, he didn't win the stage, he was second on the stage, he nearly won the stage. I mean, the distances are small on such a short stage, but crucially, it put him into the lead of the rally, which is a place he's not been for the reasonably recent past. So, turns it on his head in that we have a Hyundai leading after the disappointment that we mentioned earlier with Oit. It's a massive, massive boost for them as well to be in the lead. And all that happened on a stage that, you know, is meant by many people to be just an insignificant crowd pleaser.
Do you know what? I kind of agree with him. I really do kind of agree with him, because if we're talking about timing, moments in time, time lost, Elfyn Evans, let's talk about him in that stage. 'Cause
Yeah.
Evans, you know, we saw remarkably close times all day, and then Evans lost a chunk of time in that stage because of his inability, and he admitted it himself, to look after his tyres. I'll tell you what we'll do before we discuss that. Let's have a listen to what Elfyn told us earlier on.
Yeah, well, we had very warm tyres. I think that wasn't a secret. But of course, going into this stage, it's a very icy base, a lot of square junctions, and yeah, we just paid the price basically. We seem to be sat there forever waiting to accelerate away from them.
Tyre management then was an issue this afternoon. Where do you think perhaps you overstressed those tyres?
It's never been my strong point on snow, to be honest. Of course, we tried to work on it from last year, and it doesn't seem like we've made a lot of progress, to be honest. But I guess there's some others further down the field in a similar position, but yeah, still not ideal.
It's interesting, Anthony, isn't it? You know,
It is.
He knew that perhaps looking after tyres wasn't his strong point, and it proved to be that in that final stage of the day.
It's tough, isn't it? I mean, I think tyre management, I do a lot of work around tyres. Tyre management is just one of those things that's part and parcel of the sport.
Let's go on and talk about that wonderful battle at the front between, in particular at the end of the day, Thierry Neuville, Kalle Rovanpera. Elfyn's right there, Lappi is right there. 8.8 seconds separating our top four. What a fight we have on our hands tomorrow, Anthony. But
Huge fight.
Thierry Neuville. Actually, before, again, I ask you to comment on Neuville's performance, let's hear from Thierry Neuville at the end of the day.
I don't know what to say. I mean, Monte Carlo came a little bit early for us, and we couldn't be as well prepared as we should have been, and we wanted to be. We had to accept it, but it was still difficult, you know, because fighting against the two Sebastians, I knew I could have been within the fight, and I wasn't at all. So it was tough to accept, but yeah, we worked very hard to come here. The pre-event felt much better, but it didn't feel as good as was feeling today, to be honest. I think it was a very important day for the team, for any team member here or back in Germany. It was a very important day, and I'm sure everybody has a big smile on their face tonight.
Do you know what, Anthony? He makes a fantastic point there. Today was so important for the team. Okay, the disappointment of Tanak, but leading the rally after they were hammered in Monte Carlo. Such an important day, not just for Neuville, but for the whole Hyundai team.
Absolutely. I mean, had Thierry not done that, I think Hyundai would be very disappointed with today. As it is, they've got reasons to feel cheerful heading into tomorrow. Now, very early days, but, you know, he's made an important point with today. And I think the other thing he's also showcased today is a tremendous amount of style, not just behind the wheel, but out of the car. Did you spot his colour-coordinated jacket and glasses? I mean, I think that is the way to go.
Well, the colour-coordinated glasses with a jacket, he looked magnificent. He looked really, I don't know, he just looked focused, he looked fit, he looked fantastic today. He looked like a winner today. But I'd have to say, Rovanpera dealt first on the road with some challenging conditions in the morning, but in the afternoon, the conditions in the opening two stages for the first couple of cars on the road, They were awful. They were awful. It got a little
Horrendous.
warmer. It got slushy. We had obviously the second pass. We had the historics going through in between. There was loose snow lines, ruts all over the place. I think Rovanpera coped remarkably well and is the man to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, he coped brilliantly all day. I mean, I thought he was going to suffer in the morning, and he didn't at all. He just sort of drove through it like a massive snowplow.
I think he's going to be difficult to beat this weekend, Kalle Rovanpera. But, you know, Thierry Neuville looks really, really good indeed. The other driver we have to talk about is Pekka Lappi. You know, he is the super sub for Toyota this year. Well, I'll tell you what, we had a little bit of fun with Pekka at the end of the day. Have a look at this. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Pekka Lappi, 2 minutes. I'll keep it to 1 minute 59. What a day you've had.
Yes.
It's been magnificent. You've been magnificent.
Yes.
The car has been really terrible.
No.
The stages looked incredible.
Yes.
The boys at the front, in front of you, are magnificent and will probably win this rally.
No.
You've enjoyed yourself out there today.
Yeah. Even though I let's say I fight with the car, but still the speed is okay. But the tire wear is bad, and that's the thing now.
I love that guy. I love him. He has just got such a great attitude. He's a super talented driver who I think is yet to show us his full potential. But today, what an effort considering the position he's in.
Yes.
Thank you, Anthony. I can't take that any further. It's the end of the day. You're just going to get the slap on that head. Listen, folks, we've got a wonderful day ahead of us tomorrow. We really do. Don't forget it's a shorter day. We've had 2 stages that unfortunately we lost a week or 2 ago. But there's still an awful lot to watch out for tomorrow. I have to say, Anthony, it's been an absolute joy. You going to join us tomorrow?
Actually, I would love to if you'll have me back.
I will absolutely have you back any time.
I promise to do more than one word
rally
answers.
journalist.
Legendary
Anthony,
rally journalist.
you are. Where's David Evans?
Whereas, look, I can't fill his big Timberland boots. I'm just
Folks, it
just
has
keep my
been,
seat warm.
and you're doing that well. It's been a wonderful day, folks, here on the opening day of Rally Sweden. Don't forget, dirtfish.com. It's the place to be for all the action tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today.